In 1991, 79-year-old mobster Rosario Black Sam Nastasi was shot 5 times in the head whilst playing cards. He was an early victim of the Colombo Civil War between Vic Orena and Carmine Persico. But who was Rosario Black Sam Nastasi, and which mobsters gunned him down? Let's check it out. Welcome to OC Shorts, bringing you detailed historical snapshots of the American Mafia and other organised crime. Feel free to subscribe if you like that sort of thing. Today we're going to take a look at long-time mobster Rosario Black Sam Nastasi, a former member of Sonny Franzese's crew, who was murdered in the Third Colombo Family Civil War. Rosario Black Sam Nastasi would live at 40 Wilson Avenue in Brooklyn. He first made the headlines in December 1932 at the age of 29, when he was arrested and held after he was driving a car that struck and fatally injured Mrs. Eva Meyerson, who was 58. She would die of a fractured skull. Nastasi allegedly ran her down at 1:30 a.m. on December the 5th, and he was held on $1,500 bail. By this time, Nastasi was already in a life of crime, and was associated with the then Profaci crime family. In 1945, Rosario Nastasi's brother-in-law, Salvatore Bianco, was gunned down and killed by 3 assailants. Robbery was ruled out, as Bianco had a $1,160 bankroll in his pocket that was left untouched. He was blasted by a hail of bullets in a self-service elevator, which newspapers reported was left blood-splattered. Salvatore Bianco had been a partner of Black Sam Nastasi in the B&N Grocery Company at 376 Wilson Avenue in Brooklyn. According to Greg Scarpa's protege Larry Mazza, Rosario Black Sam Nastasi was inducted into the Profaci crime family in the same ceremony as Greg Scarpa. Larry Mazza would write in his entertaining autobiography, The Life, he was straightened out at the very same induction ceremony as Greg Scarpa. Because of that, he and Greg remained very close through the years. With this in mind, it would mean that Rosario Nastasi became a made man in 1951, which we can deduce from the FBI file regarding information that Greg Scarpa had given them concerning his own induction ceremony. The informant has at present time 10 men under his control, and has been a member of this organisation since 1951. It is unclear which crew initially Rosario Black Sam Nastasi was placed in, but we can speculate that it was perhaps Sally the Sheik Masaccios, because in 1962 Sally the Sheik was elevated to the administration of the family, possibly as underboss, and his crew was split between Joe Colombo and newly appointed captain Sonny Franzese, who was given Nastasi. Now serving under John Sonny Franzese, Rosario Black Sam Nastasi would become close with his new captain, and some reports suggested that he was allegedly Franzese's right-hand man, with some sources referring to Black Sam as Franzese's lieutenant. In 1966, both Sonny Franzese and Black Sam Nastasi, along with Arthur Sunshine Sonnenschein, were indicted on 43 counts of conspiracy and gambling. The indictment was connected with a $10 million a year Broadway and Garment District bookie ring. Black Sam Nastasi was already in prison for bookmaking at the time of this indictment. Referring to Black Sam as Nastasa, one newspaper said of Nastasi and Sonny Franzese, Nastasa, who was currently doing 6 months on Hart Island for bookmaking, was described by authorities as Franzese's lieutenant and muscleman persuader. The ruggedly handsome Franzese lives quietly in a modest $32,000 house at 47 Shrub Hollow Road in Roslyn, Long Island, with his second wife and their 3 children. He has no shrubs around the house because he is in constant fear of an ambush by the other underworld forces, the news was informed. In 1971, 5 years after Franzese, Nastasi and Sonnenschein had been indicted, the trio pled guilty to their charges in October that year. Sonny Sheen received a suspended sentence and Black Sam received a $500 fine. Sonny Franzese was due to be sentenced in mid-October. Sonny Franzese had started his famous 50-year sentence for bank robbery the previous year in 1970. Although, despite what some people believe, Franzese would initially only serve 8 years and was released in 1978. He would, however, return multiple times on parole violations over the next couple of decades relating to this conviction. Rosario Black Sam Nastasi was 59 in 1971, and for the next 2 decades would have a low-key criminal career, remaining as a soldier. However, he was well respected by his mob colleagues. Larry Mazza, in his book The Life, would say of Black Sam, "Sam Nastasi was an old-time wise guy. He went all the way back to the good old days. He was well known and well liked too. He had gone through many administrations and survived many mob wars." And so, by 1991, the year the Third Colombo Civil War erupted between Acting Boss Vic Orena and imprisoned Boss Carmine Persico, Rosario Black Sam Nastasi was 79 years of age. After a hit team targeting Vic Orena had been spotted by the acting boss in June 1991, tensions simmered between the two rival factions. And in November that year, Colombo soldier and Persico loyalist Henry "Hank the Bank" Smurer was killed behind the wheel of his car in Brooklyn by a masked gunman. The shooter of Hank the Bank is alleged to have been one of Wild Bill Cutolo's men, Vincent Chickie DeMartino. After the murder of Hank the Bank, there would be several failed attempts by both factions on each other. And then, on December 2nd, 1991, a Scarpa-led hit team for the Persico faction targeted Orena loyalist and associate Joey Joe T. Tolino outside the Mother Cabrini Social Club. He was speaking with 2 other men, one being another target from the Orena faction, Funzi D'Ambrosio. The Scarpa team opened fire. Joe T was hit but only wounded in the foot. Funzi D'Ambrosio died for cover. However, the other man they were with was shot and killed. This individual turned out to be 78-year-old Genovese soldier Gaetano Tommy Scars Amato. After it was identified that Scarpa and his team had killed one of Chin Gigante's men by mistake, there were those worried that this shooting might put the Chin and his Genovese family behind Vic Orena. Greg Scarpa, however, was more blasé about the death of Tommy Scars. He said, "Well, he shouldn't have been there." And it turns out that he was right. The message came back from Gigante about his slain soldier. Tommy was a big boy, and he should have known better than to be in a Colombo club. Retaliation from the Orena faction over the failed hit was inevitable, and Greg Scarpa spoke with his old friend Rosario Black Sam Nastasi about the escalating war. Larry Mazza, who was there, recalls the conversation and what Nastasi said. "Let him come near my place," he said to Greg and I, as he tried to lift his gun from the drawer of his desk. He was barely able to do it. And so, on Thursday, the 5th of December 1991, Rosario Black Sam Nastasi, the long-time aging Colombo Crime Family soldier, was in his Belvedere Social Club in Brooklyn playing cards. Also present with the 79-year-old was his 47-year-old girlfriend Kay Duggan and 4 others. It was 1 a.m. when a gunman from the Orena faction entered Nastasi's club on 63rd Street near 10th Avenue, Bay Ridge, and shot Black Sam to death, also wounding his girlfriend Kay Duggan. One newspaper reported, "In the latest violence, Rosario Black Sam Nastasi, a reputed Colombo soldier and ally of Persico, was shot 5 times in the head and once in the torso as he played cards inside a social club he operated on 63rd Street near 10th Avenue, Bay Ridge. A woman, described as Nastasi's girlfriend, was slightly wounded in the chest. Police said a man walked into the Belvedere Social and Athletic Association Inc. at 1 a.m. and fired at least 8 shots from a 9mm pistol at Nastasi. The gunman escaped. Nastasi's companion, Kay Duggan, 47, was treated at Maimonides Medical Center and released. Another newspaper reported Nastasi's fatal gunshot wounds slightly differently. A man walked in and shot him in the leg and then head before fleeing in a white compact car. Either way, the end result was the same. Longtime Colombo soldier Rosario Black Sam Nastasi was dead. For those interested, if you search Black Sam Nastasi's crime scene on the internet, you will see images of Black Sam laying dead in a pool of his own blood on the floor of his social club. So, which members of the Orena faction were responsible for carrying out the hit? The FBI and historians believe that the hit team for the Rosario Black Sam Nastasi killing was made up of Vincent Chickie DeMartino, a made man in William Wild Bill Cutolo's crew, along with Frankie Notch Iannacci, Gabriel Shiana, and Michael Spatero. An FBI memo relating to information provided by Greg Scarpa outlines this theory, also stating that this team was responsible for the Henry Hank the Bank Smura killing as well. It is unclear which individual from this hit team walked into Black Sam Nastasi's club and shot him to death. By the time that Joey Scopo became the last man killed in the war on October the 20th, 1993, at least 10, maybe 12 people had been killed, including civilians. The 79-year-old Rosario Black Sam Nastasi was the oldest victim of the conflict. I hope you found that interesting. Thanks for watching.